disruptive.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So this news in Calgary could not come at a worse time. Not only with the summer heat that's approaching us, not only the fact that there's been reported wildfires in the area, being wildfire season, but also just short time from now is the annual Calgary Stampede, a very famous tourist op that gets a lot of revenue from tourists coming to the Stampede. As many people know how important it is for the city and for Alberta, for many people to, it's a big attraction for many people. And this news couldn't be more devastating for residents that are dealing with this crisis. So it says Calgary reports declares state of a local emergency amid prolonged water main repairs. The city of Calgary declares a state of emergency over the city's constrained water supply on Saturday, a day after officials revealed that work to repair a burst water main is expected to take 3 to 5 weeks longer than initially. And this is coming from the Coast Reporter. The city of Calgary declared a state of emergency over the city's constrained water supply on Saturday, a day after officials revealed that work to repair a burst water main is expected to take 3 to 5 weeks longer than initially expected. Calgary Mayor Jody? How the hell do you say that? Gondek says she signed the paperwork to declare the emergency on Saturday morning following the investigation of a broken pipe, which uncovered 5 more areas in need of repair. She said the declaration grants the city powers to ordinarily wouldn't have, such as allowing the city workers to enter private property to expedite repairs. This is not a decision that was made lightly, she said during a press conference alongside Calgary Emergency Management Agency Chief Sue Henry. If we don't make this happen faster, we will absolutely make it happen faster. I am determined to do everything that I can to do so. To help speed up the repair process, Gondek said the city has been speaking with municipalities across the continent to source parts, equipment, and expertise. She added that the city is also looking into private sector, including companies from Alberta's energy industry, to help find solutions. In the meantime, Gondek reiterated a plea for residents and businesses to reduce water usage during the crisis. And here's what's the other side of this story that makes it a bit more interesting, because as government.exe is corrupt reports, they're gonna show you a video of the responders press briefing on this issue. And it says, watch, Calgary declares an emergency over a broken pipe, congratulates themselves on the quick response, and then tells people they're on their own and to find their own water supply this summer, then recommends neighbors snitch on each other for any misuse in this emergency. People who rat on their neighbors are despicable. So not only are they giving themselves a pat on the back for prolonging this and not really informing the general public of how long this is going to take, but now they're telling them to snitch on each other. It's just, it really, really is kind of an interesting conspiracy, if you will, on what this water break is actually inflicting on the residents of Calgary. But listen to this.
Good afternoon. Emergency together. Good afternoon. Earlier today, we declared a state of local emergency. This reinforces the urgency and the priority of this response as we work with crews, contractors, and partners to get this massive repair done and restore water services to each and every one of you. We've had the Municipal Emergency Plan and the Emergency Operations Center open since the early hours of the feeder main break. Through this coordination that was in place, we were able to quickly coordinate with our agency members to get access to the materials and personnel. As announced yesterday, we anticipate current water restrictions will last 3 to 5 weeks longer. This means 3 to 5 more weeks of a couple of less flushes a day and thoughtful actions about each and every drop of water that you use and each and every thing that you do that will add demand to our water system. As many of you are aware, there is rain in the forecast, and this weather over the next few days will help us. This is an opportunity and a great time to collect that rain. Find a rain barrel, find a bucket, find any kind of container that you can set outside, and it's a great water use for your gardens as well as any of your plants outside. A quick update on the numbers that we're seeing today from Bylaw M311. To date, we've received 5,724 calls related to the water feeder main break, with 1,794 related to water misuse. We are encouraging Calgarians to use the 311 app or calgary.ca to make your service request. As the Mayor mentioned, today is Neighbour Day, and it's an important time to consider your neighbours as we respond to this emergency together. To continuing to use water mindfully so our first responders and hospitals have the supply they require. The spirit of the community is going to be what gets us through.
The spirit of the community on Neighbor Day is to snitch on neighbors misusing water. This is just incredible. This is just incredible to witness. And maybe it's because we covered a lot of these water stories. We've shown how, the devastation, the corruption behind the Maui wildfires and how they turned off the water, or, the poisoning of Flint, Michigan water and the corruption behind this. So, excuse me if I tend to go in the direction of this is beyond more than just fixing a water pipe. Because what you're hearing here, and the fact that now we're trying to get neighbors to snitch on each other, but still say we're doing this for the benefit of the community, seems a way too bit suspicious. It's very spiritual of the state of Calgary that you can't have efficient water, and anyone that misuses their water has to be called in by the police. It's so insanely crazy, but not as crazy as the mayor's response to this. So here's the mayor of Calgary herself, Gondek, who mysteriously looks like my first grade teacher, all seriousness. Looks strangely identical to the teacher I had in first grade, other than the plaid shirt, but that's the Albertan fashion sense that they have over there. That's how you know you're really a member of the prairies, if you have that nice, button-up plaid shirt. And here she is about to lecture people on how you're not going to get clean water, so here's some alternatives that you, the residents of Calgary and beyond, have to endure. And it's kind of, again, you kind of scratch your head and think how diluted this becomes. Listen to this.
Who have been reducing their water usage. Today you get a pass. No need to shower, no need to shave. We're just going to call it come as you are. It's dad style all day. And I want to celebrate the fact that you have been doing your part to conserve water and help us when we really need it. It's been a busy 24 hours since we declared a state of local emergency in our city yesterday morning. At the same time that many of you were out celebrating Neighbor Day and reconnecting with each other, we were hard at work looking to find efficient ways to fix the repairs that we need to do along the broken feeder main pipe. This has actually created a problem for all Calgarians because our standard water supply has been cut in half because we cannot get water from the Bears Paw treatment facility out to different reservoirs within our city. We have been relying on the South Glenmore treatment plant to pump water into all of the reservoirs. And I want you to imagine that we are only operating at about 50% of the full capacity of the system. The good news, I am very happy to report that Calgarians are listening and understanding that we are going to be in a prolonged period of needing to conserve water. Yesterday.
So to catch that, she says the good news, and she's very, very happy about this, is that you guys are listening up. You guys are following the rules. I would think that in a state of emergency like this, more better news would be an update on how the construction process to fix this problem is going. I would consider that more better news to discuss out in the open and in this news clip here than to say that you guys are falling into line. Because that, pray tell, kind of says a lot about this situation that, well, they're more concerned about people listening to the rules that they're dictating over you than actually combating the problem. And she's very happy about this. She's very, very happy that on Neighbor Day in Calgary, people are snitching on each other for water usage.
Your consumption hit an all-time low, and we used 438 million liters of water. That is better than what we hoped to achieve. The best that we did was last Saturday, about 8 days ago, when you consumed 440 million liters. You did better yesterday, and I cannot thank you enough for taking that call to action seriously. We are also in pretty good shape in terms of the supply that we have on hand. We've got about 634 million liters as of 6 a.m. this morning. That means that we have enough water stored to meet demand and also protect ourselves in case of any emergencies. I want to thank everybody in Calgary, Airdrie, Tsuut'ina Nation, Strathmore, and Chestermere for all of your efforts. You are very good humans, especially when you consider that a lot of haters and deniers are saying that you'll give up, you'll get sick of all of this, and you won't do your part. I have much more faith in all of you than that. The other good news is that we were blessed with rain, and because of this rain, you were able to collect water that you can use in the future for your vegetable gardens and for all of your plants. I received a lot of messages from friends with photos of how they were collecting that water, everything from buckets to milk jugs to rain barrels. And there were a lot of social media posts about Calgarians using ingenious ways to collect water. Thank you very much for doing your part, and thank you for sharing it on social media to encourage your family and your friends to do the same. And I'm going to say, let's fill those socials with creative ways that you are saving water. It doesn't all have to be doom scrolling and bots. Post your victories on saving water so we can drown out all of the noise. I also know that everyone is quite concerned about how long this is going to take and who's actually doing their part. I'm getting a lot of questions about hotels, recreation centers, businesses, and summer festivals. At this time, I'm going to ask you to please give us some time to collect the information to answer your questions. We need a few more days to look at the numbers. We need some more time to look at water usage mapping throughout our city and the region. We need to talk to our partner organizations and businesses to make sure they understand what they can do to reduce water usage. And we need to understand better the timeline for restoring the Bears Paw water treatment facilities flow back into our system.
But didn't you just give statistics on how people are helping by conserving their water? Did we not just hear a bunch of numbers on how much water we're gaining because of the fact that people are restricting their water usage? So why do you still need extra days to tell businesses how long this fixture is going to take? Again, this is just, I find this mind-boggling, because when the most sane thing to do, the most rational thing to do at a time of this crisis is to focus on fixing that pipe right away and not, going on media tours to say, oh, I'm so glad that people on social media are posting about rain barrels. Nothing against rain barrels, personally. I actually endorse them. I recommend them to people. I think it's a really smart, clever idea. Like, why not? It's there. Why not collect rainwater? But that's not the fundamental point of this. The fundamental point is that the water supply is going to get worser if you don't hurry up and fix it. If you don't hurry up and fix the piping of this. And that's what people are turning on to the news to hear, is how long it's going to take. They don't care about who's conserving more than other people. They don't care about that. They're more worried about trying to fix this problem. And like I said, it could not come at a worse time considering we're in the midst of summer, where also wildfires are approaching in parts of Alberta and also the fact that one of the biggest tourist attractions, the Calgary Stampede, is momentarily away. And that should be a deadline. That should be like the kick in the ass for these people to get a move on things. You would think.
We're also investigating some other options, one of which includes using overland pipes to get water from Bears Paw into the various places that we need it. These are backup plans that we are simply considering right now. We'll get you more information as we have it. But we can't make these types of significant decisions based on gut instinct alone. Let's give the city emergency operations team the next few days to collect the information they need. Let's give them time to brainstorm with other professionals to see what can be done to restore our water supply to regular usage and get that water pumping at 100% capacity. We will absolutely share information and ideas with you as we have them so you can understand what decisions are being made and why they're being made. In the meantime, I'm asking everyone, businesses, corporations, industry, and residents to continue doing your part. I know a lot of you will be out celebrating Father's Day today. You might be at restaurants and pubs. So I'm going to share something that one of our iconic, longstanding pubs in Calgary is doing. The Ship and Anchor shared on social media yesterday what they're doing, and I will quote their tweet. With the city declaring a state of emergency, we wanted to share what conservation efforts we have put in place since the news of the water main break last week. Number 1, we are only pouring water when requested. Number 2, we are using our dishwasher as sparingly as possible and maximizing every load. Number 3, we're keeping our bar wells low on ice and using ice sparingly in beverages to minimize the refilling of our ice machine. Number 4, buckets are set up on our patios to catch leftover water from customer water bottles and glasses to use for planting or for plant watering. Additionally, we are working with our plumbing company to rewire our auto flushing in our bathrooms and to shorten the time that sink taps run with each press. We recognize that we all need to do our part to mitigate water use while this city navigates this emergency. This is a true act of leadership, and I know that there are other restaurants and pubs that are practicing similar methods of saving water. I'm encouraging all establishments to share what you're doing to work differently to keep our water supply at a strong level. Please feel free to tag me in your social posts, and I'll make sure word gets out on everything that you are doing. And let me just go back to why our water use as residents is as important as what the businesses are doing. I want you to think about Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup bar, you know, the one that's got 3 cups in it. Or I want you to think of a pail of ice cream that's Neapolitan. It's got the chocolate, the vanilla, and the strawberry. Now, I want you to think that someone takes one of your delicious peanut butter cups, or someone eats all the chocolate out of the pail, probably me. You're still left with 2/3 of what you started with. That 2/3 is us. It's you and me. It's residents. We're the ones that are consuming 2/3 of the water in the system, and that's why it's important that we all continue to do our part, because we're responsible for 2/3 of the water usage in our system. Now, later today, I'll be back at the Emergency Operations Center with Chief Sue Henry.
That is one hell of an analogy right there. Go to Reese's Pieces or Neapolitan ice cream. I was confused on where she was going. I thought I was just like rambling on about random candies, and it's like, oh, okay, trying to make this into a point about, well, we're the 2/3 that are using all this, so it's important to, you know, cut back and share as much on social media, but not actually inform people on the updates of this, which is the common goal of this press conference here.
Henry and the city team to talk to you about the progress that's being made and to bring you any important updates that we have. Until then, I'm going to leave you with some dad tips in honor of Father's Day. And here are some of the ones that my team came up with and some doozies from the internet. Brush your teeth in the shower. 2 birds, 1 stone. Drink beer instead of water. Only water the plants that you really like and call it survival of the fittest. Skip washing the car. Little dirt adds character. Imagine you're on a game show and the prize is lower water bills. Put a sealed glass jar in your toilet tank to save water when you flush. And just the barest whisper of water in one's whiskey. And my dad's advice to me throughout my life, do it like you mean it. So Calgary and surrounding area, I'm asking you to save water like you mean it because it matters. It matters a lot. And I can see that you are doing your best to help us all get through this situation, and it is greatly appreciated. With that, happy Father's Day, everyone, and we will see you at 2 p.m.
It matters so much to her that she is going to avoid providing information on how long this is going to take. This is something that happened last week. She's mentioned about Father's Day, and the whole time she barely mentioned about the actual situation at hand. She just mentioned about how, like, oh, city responders are, doing their part, and we're going to give you updates as much as we can. But let's talk about, Father's Day and how all these great restaurants on social media are reducing their water and how you can reduce water and all this stuff. Again, I don't mean to be a stickler, because I know this is a troubling time for people in Calgary, and I understand the issue of this. I understand how important this is, but if this is such a vital issue for someone like her, she even admitted to it, it's such a vital issue for her. When's your first job, your first instinct is to worry about fixing that pipe itself and not be consumed with social media or coming up with these little analogies? Like, wouldn't that be your first instinct, is to worry about, okay, how long is this pipe going to take? Okay, what are we getting to get resources to this area? Are there any alternatives to bring that water outwards? She mentioned about the, instead of underground piping, just go overground. There's a solution. There's an idea. How would that take? How much would that take? Are there other methods? Are we doing other measures? Like, again, maybe it's just because we've done the coverage about the Maui wildfires and their corruption into, combating the water that was supposed to be used for emergencies, or we're trying to block people from that, or Flint, Michigan, or Cleveland. Like, we've covered a lot of water stories about contamination or corruption that they're trying to hold back from this. So maybe I'm a bit skeptical because of that, but it seems a little too suspicious that just a water main break is causing this much of a panic. I don't know the infrastructure of Calgary. I don't know how the city is planned out, but one water main break that goes from one reservoir that's supposed to fill other reservoirs, it's just, to me, it just seems baffling that we're almost at, like, Mad Max Fury Road kind of emergency plotting for something like this. Because you've seen other cities that have water main breaks, and a lot of times it could maybe affect a neighborhood or a small little section of the town, but it's not going to affect the entire city. So I'm just confused. I'm very much confused. If anyone, my Calgary brothers and sisters out there, can inform us on this, then by all means, feel free to comment, because I'm very confluted. I'm very clustered in this, and maybe there is a bit of a conspiracy towards this. Maybe there is a bit more corruption that needs to be exposed for how a water main break is turning into this. Who really knows?